Well, they're vulnerable right now, Brisbane, because Black is on the ground. I thought it was him. It was number 23, but Luke Power also off the ground.
Selwood got it from Riscatelli, gives it to Lappin. Adcock. And now Jonathan Brown, who's on the move. Rutten's with him. Half grabbed an arm. Umpire said it was okay. Stevens, Goodwin grabbed by the leg. Umpire Goldspin said it was the knee, so it was okay. Johncock from half back long. Riley flies and brings it down.
Patfield's got to work hard because Welsh is pushed right over. In the end, he's going to get this footy.
Good fist from Patfield. McLeod back to Welsh. Riley. Burton. 60 from goal. Crows looking solid. High kick. And Bok flies but can't mark it. Selwood. Begley is going to run into trouble in Edwards. Over the top to Adcock. No one to come too wide. Begley's going to have to run or find the boundary. Jonathan Brown's coming up now. He's got 3 Crows with him. And he can't beat them all. Matner. Copeland tries to lend a hand, but Matner spears the pass. And it's out of bounds on the full. Edwards, that might be 50.
Should be 50.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
He knew.
The men in green, they don't miss much on the 50s. Let's have a look at the Brent Riley mark. It was pretty athletic, and he just hooked it in. And he gave the boys and the girls out and that out of something to get raptures about.
But Jed Adcock, having an outstanding year, have to be an All-Australian contender, might even be a future leader at the Lions, the former Ballarat Rebels captain. Send the Lions inside 50 in the Jonathan Brown direction. Burton comes back with a flight. And Copeland's toe poke heads toward the boundary and rolls across. We'll get a ball in. That's a win for the Lions. 6.5 minutes from halftime. 8th spot on the ladder up for grabs. Back into the 8th for the winner tonight.
Well,
McLeod.
Geelong.
Goodwin. Leuenberger cut it off. And now Selwood. Wide kick inside 50. Clark can't get near it. And Stevens gathers at half back. Shirley. McLeod. They can sense the Adelaide Crows. The Lions are on the ropes here. Bok. Spent some time on the bench. Caught. Tied up by Patfield. Riley keeps his feet but loses the ball. Selwood. He's got Leuenberger. Doesn't bounce to him. Well played by Bok. Had that spell on the bench, and you can tell he's trying to let everybody know he wants to stay out there, but a little too high on Selwood. Riscatelli. 36 plays 19.
It's taken me a while to work it out, Dwayne, but Shaney Stiller is the man that's now responsible for Simon Goodwin in this second quarter, and he hasn't got near him. Goodwin is up to 19 possessions and is dominating the contest at the moment.
Corey.
Good kick.
Brennan. Black. And now Hadley, who can run in and have the shot, decides for the pass. Clark claimed his arms were slapped, didn't get it. Stevens gathers the ball. Edwards all the way back to fullback to Rutten. And it'll come back to Stevens. In fact, to Graham Johncock. Edwards. And now Massey, who can run the wing. Burton calls for it long. He wants to go back into the corridor. Kick a little dangerous. Rashudo made it look okay to Meeson. Through the legs of Goodwin. Johncock. Edwards. Shirley. Doughty. Gill's short. That's ignored. He goes longer to Burton. 1-on-1. Burton takes the mark. Unbelievable use of the body. And Brett Burton can head back and have the shot.
It's a good contest. The Birdman against Richard Hadley. And Hadley was desperately trying to stay on his feet and hold that front position. Burton just worked him off the ball at the last minute, allowing him to take the diving chest mark.
Trying to inspire their team back into the 8th tonight. And Burton casually, and inaccurately behind. Lee Colby.
Not great signs for the Brisbane Lions or Joel Patfull. He's just come off the ground with the right shoulder, in a lot of pain.
Yeah, they're just clinging by a thread at the moment, the Brisbane Lions. Adelaide look to be dominating the contest, but you just wonder if all these misses are going to come back and haunt them at any stage.
Leuenberger, strong hands, held it long enough.
Well, at the moment they've got to get their guns back into the game, because Jonathan Brown just 3 possessions. Lappin's only had 6 possessions. They need some of their very best players to get the footy.
Briscatelli.
And preferably close to goal.
Stiller. Copeland short, and it's over the back. Jonathan Brown dived, couldn't mark.
He's another one, Dwayne. Copeland's been one of the best players since their resurgence up forward, yet he's only touched it a couple of times.
Edwards gave it to McLeod. It was held by Luke Power. Finds John Cock. And they run the middle. Mackner. Got a couple of options. Out wide, Goodwin. Can't get there. And a good mark taken by Notting. Back with the flight. And now Clark is loose. Too far out to score.
Needed to move it quickly. He had loose players in the attacking 50.
Johnson. And he's still too far out to score. To the pocket to Brennan. What can he manufacture? He's got a couple to beat. Tapped under him by Massey. And he keeps it under Brennan. Will the umpire be fooled? No. McLeod. Somehow, through traffic. Tawney, Shirley. All the way back again to Mason. Mackner. Tawney. Notting flies. Keeps it alive for the Lions' chances. Grabbed by Thompson. Corey caught by the shorts. Sends it to full forward. Jonathan Brown getting back. Rutten with him. And they'll get a ball in.
They're 2 pretty large, imposing figures, aren't they? Ben Rutten and Jonathan Brown. Is doing a great job, Rutten.
There's
had plenty of help.
Didn't want to get it out. Back into play. A little high, Tawney. Doughty. Now Thompson. Crowd a little anxious at the moment. Right ball and gobbled up by Selwood. The crowd know they've got the Lions on the ropes, but with 2 minutes left to half-time, a goal, and they're back in it with some momentum. Sherman. Held up. And now short to Clark. Can't complete the mark. Can't from it. Stevens. John Cock. And now they've got the loose man on the wing. The Gill, the Cock. Hero sends it long to the all-time great Rashudo. And he gets the free against Chris Scott for a push in the back.
The push was there. I just didn't know whether it was hands or not.
He used the forearm there. No, I think that's okay. He just held Rashudo under the ball as he tried to back into him.
Not when it's Rashudo's night. Gill gets back, can't take the mark. Johnson, Corey, inside a minute. He heads way, way wide. In fact, probably what he wanted to do, because he knew that Stiller was under pressure and allowed him to just take it out with 51 seconds left on the clock. Yeah.
It's always hard to say. It's a fine line between using the forearm and then pushing off with the hand at the last moment, isn't it?
Briscatelli dumped by Burton. Dispossessed Hudson to Thompson. Inside 50, Rashudo comes hard. Caught by Chris Scott. Couple of hard nuts there. Riley to full forward. A tie-up. Block off the deck. Goes it! A miracle goal.
$1.10.
Yeah.
That's the price of petrol we need to make it back how much we spent looking for petrol. The further we drive, the cheaper the petrol needs to be. I call it the Annabelle Principle.
Right.
Genius.
Huh?
For a smarter way to save, switch to Amy Flexi Premiums. Our new car and home customers saved on the price of their insurance.
Lucky you're with Amy.
50th goal in AFL football for Nathan Bott, who's also a good story. Wasn't committed to the game as a kid. Had some dreadlocks and loved his surfing, and was told if you want to get drafted, shave your dreadlocks off and at least look like you're serious. And that's exactly what he did. And he's turning into a good player for the Adelaide Crows. Leuenberger, short. Lappin. Just need to send it inside 50 and get a mark with 7 seconds left on the clock. Hadley doesn't do that. Begley doesn't do it. And they cost themselves the last roll of the dice, the Brisbane Lions.
Terrific quarter by the Adelaide Crows. They really just played to their game plan. I think the game is being played on their terms at the present time. Their skills just that little bit better. They've been able to find targets and make space for their targets inside 50. Much better than at the other end of the ground. I think Rutten's doing an excellent job when the one-on-ones actually come to Jonathan Brown. Not that they've been that much aplenty, but Brisbane will have to go into the huddle, into the change rooms, and just work on their skills, work on their pace, and just keep the positive attitude, because dangerous times at the moment.
A spot in the 8 up for grabs tonight. Destiny in the winner's hands going into round 22, and September action is theirs. Adelaide at half-time lead, 6-7-43. The Brisbane Lions, 3-1-19.
From thousands, we're down to this.
Your top 24.
Live Sunday,
Monday,
Tuesday,
Wednesday,
and Thursday.
it's the Idols semi-finals.
Live over 5 nights, our idols will face their toughest judge, you. Your vote decides who stays and who goes.
And for the first time ever, see it in high definition.
Idols never looked so good.
Or sounded so sweet.
Idols semi-final week begins 7:30 Sunday.
Say hello to the Motor Rocker Z6 Aria Edition. Comes with Bluetooth stereo headphones, 1 gig memory card, bonus ringtones and Aria Charts music button. The Motor Rocker Z6, $0 up front on the 24-month crazy $35 phone plan, exclusive to Crazy John's.
If you buy any McDonald's Name It Burger McValue meal this week, Ken Thomas will shout you a free hot pie made from apples, which he named the Hot Apple Pie.
It's bonus time in Harvey Norman's Camera Bonus Bonanza. 4 days of hot deals on digital cameras and video cameras, just in time for Father's Day. Plus, get up to $200 bonus Harvey Norman gift vouchers on all cameras. Now's the time to buy the perfect gift for Dad with never-to-be-repeated deals. You could win one of 10 fantastic Jayco Eagle Camper trailers. Plus, get up to $200 bonus gift vouchers on all cameras now. Hurry, Harvey Norman's Camera Bonus Bonanza must end this weekend. And remember, we won't be beaten on price.
There is no common man. There is no common woman.
The only thing we all have in
Common,
is that we are all
different.
That's why
At Ford, we've created
a range of German-engineered urban cars,
to suit different needs, desires,
aspirations, and lives.
because we know
Everyone's journey
is different.
Remember years ago when Father's Day was special?
Yeah.
We'd thank him properly for building the deck, fixing the gate and painting the house.
He thought it was grouse.
Now it's grooming products and cookbooks written by footy players, no more.
Hop round to your local home hardware and they'll help you give Dad a proper Father's Day with a proper gift.
Like an Exceed circular saw, only $29.95, or a Tough GMC powered tape measure, just $19.95.
Get it all at your local home timber and hardware.
The proper hardware store.
If you buy any McDonald's Name It Burger McValue meal this week, Ken Thomas will shout you a free hot pie made from apples, which he named the Hot Apple Pie.
Check out what's hot at Stratco. Modular rainwater tanks from just $399. Bonus electric line trimmer with Stratco handy garden sheds. Good neighbour fencing, a low 36 a metre. Huge range of plasterboard in store from only $12.95. And no deposit, 24 months interest-free terms on all Stratco Outback veranda patios.
What you need today?
Half-time here at Amy Stadium, and the Adelaide Crows are doing it in fine fashion. 6-7-43, a 24-point lead over the Brisbane Lions, 3-1-19. Single goal kickers all around. Goodwin with 20 possessions for the Adelaide Crows, dominating. Troy Selwood has picked up 21 for the Brisbane Lions. Jared, as we look at the match stats, those inside 50s are going to kill the Lions at the end of the game.
Yeah, I guess that reflects what we think the game is at the present time. A real domination by Adelaide. Even though Brisbane aren't that far behind on the scoreboard, they are really well and truly out of this match unless they can change it around through the middle of the ground and get the ball into some of their guns. The best thing for the Brisbane Lions is a lot of their best players aren't playing well. So they have got, I think Lee Matthews has got an avenue to go to the senior players at half-time.
Yeah, plenty of Adelaide's big-name players are playing well. Also, a few that we haven't seen too much of. Young Nick Gill really came into it in that second quarter in particular. He's had 11 possessions, kicked a goal. He shot off a hand pass that allowed Simon Goodwin to kick a goal, and 7 of his 11 possessions have been contested. Probably taking McGregor's spot in many ways. Jason, he just works hard. I think Adelaide are, if not the fittest side in the competition, they are right up there in the top echelon. That's why they're at the top end of the ladder. And I think that's why they're going to be dangerous if they can make that final spot, because Brisbane have got good running power, but they've come up against a side that's a class above again tonight. Jonathan Brown, without doubt, one of the superstars of the competition. He did kick an early goal, but he hasn't had things all his own way, often outnumbered, but Ben Rutten is doing an outstanding job. Yeah, in the one-on-ones, I think Rutten's just got the better of him at the present time. He's kept him only to 3 or 4 possessions. Good defensive work. He's getting a bit of assistance, obviously. People are floating back on him. And I guess, but on the other side of it, they are looking to Jonathan Brown most times they go in. So Rutten's an incredible athlete. People thought he was a little bit too slow, but he's very tall and he's actually pretty quick. They need a lot more ball through the midfield, the Brisbane Lions. One player that has impressed you coming off the wing is Tim Notting, who continues a very good 2007. Well, I just think as a percentage of his possessions, so much has happened when he's had it, when he's crossed the ball to the other side. His penetration in his kick, I think, has made up for a lot of his teammates' inaccuracy with their handballs. If we just had a look at the handball stats, they are chopping up 1 in 4 of their handballs, as against 1 in 9 for the Adelaide Crows. And I think Notting's accuracy and with his kicking and his running has actually made them dangerous for the few times they have been in that first half. A lot of work still to be done for the Brisbane Lions if they're going to get back into this contest, and they might be doing it one short. Joel Patfull with his arm in a sling. A shoulder injury there is going to make life very, very tough. He's been playing down back in the second half of the year. One man that's played down back all year is their fullback, Daniel Merritt, and we'll hear from him on the other side of the break.
You'll wet yourself laughing.
I like the way they shot straight for his groin. It's like when you go into a washroom, you go to wash your hands and it sprays and it's just made to get you on the groin. You up against the hand dryer going like that.
Bro, 8:30 Sunday.
Jimbo, Jimbo, off to work we go. 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 Jimbo, Jimbo, off to work we go.
Jim's Mowing for all your gardening needs.
Mary, you're the one.
Sam! So, what's the surprise? Oh. This tastes sensational.
You'll be surprised by KFC's boneless fillets. Premium skinless fillets lightly coated in the Colonel's original recipe. Now in a boneless dinner box.
This is just perfect.
KFC's boneless dinner box.
We used to give Dad proper Father's Day gifts. Now it's cookbooks written by footy players.
But your local home hardware knows what he wants.
An Exceed circular saw only $29.95 and a Hitachi cordless driver drill only $99.
Home timber and hardware.
The proper hardware store.
We're always told repeatedly the very best in life is free. And if you want to prove it's true, baby, I'm telling you, this is what you should do. Just help yourself to my lips, to my arms, just say the word and they are yours.
Hey Mark, what's on the menu today at Cafe Primo?
We've got a tasty chicken burger for $9.90, a chicken Caesar salad for $9.90, and spaghetti Napolitana for $9.90.
Cafe Primo.
Primo quality.
Primo price.
Imagine golden chips, we often do, in flavours there to make you sing. We're thanking you, and perfect for the 40 game. We're glad we came, so happy
Smith's,
together.
now in thick cut.
Remember years ago when Father's Day was special?
Yeah.
We'd thank him properly for building the deck, fixing the gate and painting the house.
He thought it was grouse.
Now it's grooming products and cookbooks written by footy players, no more.
Pop round to your local home hardware and they'll help you give Dad a proper Father's Day with a proper gift.
Like an Exceed circular saw, only $29.95, or a tough GMC powered tape measure, just $19.95.
Get it all at your local home timber and hardware.
The proper hardware store.
If you buy any McDonald's Name It Burger McValue meal this week, Ken Thomas will shout you a free hot pie made from apples, which he named the Hot Apple Pie.
In the most dramatic new SVU of the year.
The entire Special Victims Unit will be torn apart, and it's all due to this man.
New SVU follows Idol Monday.
He's handled some big jobs this year, Daniel Merritt. He's come a long way in a short time on most occasions, playing on the competition's gun forwards. And during the week, our very own Alice Lynch had the chance to sit down and have a chat with Daniel Merritt.
Daniel, thanks for joining us. Now, let's talk about your introduction to AFL football. 2002, you were drafted. What was your background in sport before that?
Primary school was rugby league. Just growing up on the Gold Coast here in Queensland, it's the major sport up here, so I just grew up playing that and cricket in the summer. And through high school, our school actually had sports excellence in volleyball and touch footy, so they were the two major sports in high school.
And how did you get the introduction to AFL football then?
I lived... No, actually our school was about a kilometre away from Service Paradise Football Club, so I used to go down there and watch my mates play. One day they were short, so I joined in and had a ball.
It wasn't long after that you were drafted. How many games of Aussie rules footy had you played all up?
I'd say all up before I was drafted, maybe 20.
Now every Tuesday or Wednesday night you get to do in the simulated drills, you're playing a fairly handy player in Jonathan Brown.
Exactly right. I think it's great to have Brownie at training and wrestling with him every week. It's just great to get the know-how, and he talks to you and he lets you know what he hates about defenders, and you can sit there and talk to him about ways to get around opponents.
Who in the coaching box is claiming responsibility for your move to the back line?
In the game, I moved back. Lepper was actually playing his last game in the reserves, and he said, mate, I reckon you should go on with this and have a real crack at that spot. So maybe Lepper's claiming it, but no, I'm happy someone chose that, because it's worked out for me.
Everett bangs it long to the goal square. Barry Hall wrestling to the front. Merritt with the spoil again.
So what sort of height are you? Height, gives me height, weight, and what's your speed over 20?
Height 195, about 103 kilos, and get around the 20 metre in about 2.7 to 2.6.
6'5", you travel home on a moped, don't you? I mean, how do you get around?
Yeah, you're right. I think I went for the scooter just because I only live around the corner, and it cost me about $4 a month on petrol, so I look ridiculous. I look like a bit of a praying mantis on the scooter, but with my knees around my ears. But I put the looks aside and and just get myself to work.
It's an interesting visual, isn't it? Just picturing Daniel Merritt on a little moped. Let's check out the scores as they currently stand at the MCG. Another match in progress, which will have a big bearing on the final 8. Collingwood 10-9-69. Leads Sydney by 17 points, 8-4-52. Rusling with 3 for the Pies, and Barry Hall with 3 for the Sydney Swans. So plenty of big matches across the weekend that are going to shape the final 8. It's a pretty comfortable Adelaide Crows half-time at Amy Stadium. They lead by 24 points. David Noble, their assistant coach, talking to the forwards, hoping that they will capitalise on their opportunities and try and put the Lions away in the second half. Can the Lions bounce back? We'll find out on the other side of the break.
Get ready, Australia, the new series of dance right here on 10.
The most sensational dance show on the tube returns, and it's hot.
Like this!
Where you think you can dance, series return, 8 o'clock Thursday.
TV's best movers and shakers, and right here on 10.
The new Mitsubishi 380 Sports with spoiler, sunroof, 17-inch alloys and backed by Mitsubishi's Diamond Advantage from just $28,990. When you think hard about it, you won't find better.
Bunnings gift cards come in $10, $20, $50 and $100 values, so the kids can come in and grab Dad a $10 gift card, or Mum can come in and spoil Dad with a $100 gift card.
Steel stepladder $36.90. Makita grinder kit $99. Endeavour 4-burner barbecue $399. Cordless screwdriver $79. Fire extinguisher $19.88.
If Dad's got several children, he's going to do very well on Father's Day morning from Bunnings.
Bunnings Warehouse!
Lowest prices are just the beginning.
Want your own legendary moments? Thanks to Mars, you and a friend have a chance to be at the World Series Baseball, Dubai World Cup, Monaco Grand Prix, Wimbledon Finals and the NFL Super Bowl. Simply SMS Mars 1977 2222 with your name and address for your chance to win.
Hey Mark, what's on the menu today at Cafe Primo?
We've got a delicious penne alla panna for $9.90, any 10-inch pizza for $9.90 and chili prawn noodles for $9.90.
Cafe Primo.
Primo quality.
Primo price.
If you buy any McDonald's Name It Burger McValue meal this week, Ken Thomas will shout you a free hot pie made from apples, which he named the Hot Apple Pie.
Unlock the full potential of your car with Pedder's $14 28-point steering and suspension safety check. Pedder's, straight advice, specialist you understand, and no bull.
We're always told repeatedly the very best in life is free. And if you want to prove it's true, baby, I'm telling you, this is what you should do. Just help yourself to my lips, to my arms, just say the word and they are yours.
Insurance companies may look the same from the outside, but they're not. Only Western QBE offers you the security and choice of all these cover options. Be insured. QBE insured. Call 133-QBE.
Where have you been, my blue-eyed son? Where have you been, my darling, you're the one? I stumbled on the side of 12 misty mountains. I walked and I crawled on 6 crooked highways. I stepped in the middle of 7 dark forests.
The Mitsubishi Triton, now with auto diesel. Better at getting the hard jobs done.
Neil, the pressure and intent has been there in the first half.
Yeah, it's been a good game in terms of those areas, Lee, for both sides. And as you would expect, you know, big prize at the end, so both sides are pretty committed in that area.
Inside 50s, you dominated in that area, just finishing off.
Yeah, we've been wasteful. It was 13 to 4 scoring shots, so we've got the scoring shots there. Our contested balls in order. We've just got to make sure that we start to get a bit more value from their hard work.
Thanks as always, Neil.
Okay, good. Thanks, Lee.
A happy Adelaide coach Neil Craig. They lead by 24 points, the Adelaide Crows, at half-time here at Amy Stadium. A spot in the 8 up for grabs tonight. We've talked about it a lot, but the winner tonight only has to win again next week, and they will play in September regardless of all the other scores and connotations. Adelaide play Collingwood at the Melbourne Cricket Ground next Friday night. That's their last game of the season, and the Brisbane Lions play Geelong at the Gabba next Saturday night.
Interesting, just having a look at Scott Welsh. He's really struggled to have any impact whatsoever on this match. He has kicked 1 goal, but just a few possessions. Heavy strapping on the knee. He was doing a little bit of agility work out there. He's starting this third quarter on the bench and just trying to get some movement back in it on the bye.
Chris Scott, Cameron Wood, Justin Sherman also starting on the bench, and Pat Phillips to play no part in the second half of the Brisbane line, so they're down to 3 on the bench. Adelaide by 24 points to start this second half. Hudson and Leuenberger in the ruck. Little toe poke off the deck from Riley, rolls it to half forward for pleasure. Goodwin for the perfect start from 50. The General slides it home. Enjoyed it.
I'm lost, can't do my thing. That's why I sing, gimme that thing. Gimme that, gimme that, gimme that, gimme that thing. Gimme that, gimme that, gimme that thing. Gimme that, gimme that, gimme that thing. Gimme that, 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 gimme that thing. Gimme that, gimme that, gimme that thing. That's right.
The ideal start for Adelaide, 49 plays 19, and the Brisbane Lions' finals hopes are slipping by the second. Hudson and Leuenberger. Ball knocked down towards Stiller. Lappin didn't have a big first half. Power. Stiller again. Got a couple of options wide. Adcock one of them. Now the lead from Clark from the square. Lights in his eyes, goes for the mark. Matner. Stevens, who's been good.
That must be deliberate, surely.
Well, Shirley's in the vicinity, and it is paid deliberate. That's why we pay you the big bucks, Jason. Because you read it before us all.
Oh, I don't think he saw Shirley at any stage, and he just headed directly for the boundary, so good consistency from the umpires.
Jed Adcock in the Brennan direction, terrible kick, and Stevens cuts it off.
I think KG and Corngie will get a run with that one during the week.
Now the renaissance continues for Scott Stevens, former Sydney player of course, but his main role in Sydney was teaching Ty Kennelly how to drive and helping him settle in to Australian life, the Irishman. And he's been a genuine good player for the Adelaide Crows. Terrible spill by Tawney. Copeland ties it up. Tawney tries to make amends and mops up the mess by getting a ball up.
It's interesting, players, if they get to their feet, they very rarely get pinged. Now, if Tawney just sits over that ball, he'll go for holding, but he gets to his feet, and then it's held in to a standing player. They very rarely ping the players for holding the ball, the umpires.
See Tawney there running with Luke Power. Luke Power actually started up on the half-forward line. Next bounce, he pushed up to the wing. He's had plenty of it, 15. He's working hard. Needs a few others to go with him.
Goodwin, another possession to Shirley. Massey, Shirley, Van Berlo, McLeod shrugs the tackle, tries to get it back to Van Berlo, stolen by Power. Squeezes it to Jonathan Brown, can't half volley it. Shirley cuts it off again. Having a good night at the office.
Speaking of blokes having a good night, Prince is on fire tonight.
Andrew McLeod bounces the wing. Rashido short.
Just playing it there.
And now the pop-up pass to Portpleasure. Leads come. Long bomb and getting in the hole is Gill. And he takes the mark on a 45-degree angle. Did one in the opening half.
He just got away from Tim Notting on that occasion. He does lead well. He presents all the time, Nick Gill. Now, this will be a good test for his kicking, which we spoke about. He's obviously done a lot of work on it. He looks to have simplified his technique a little bit. See if he can thread it through from this angle.
Well, he's 50-50. He's 6-6 for the season. He's 1-1 tonight. And that's out of play on the full.
He's got one of everything.
Yeah.
Well, he actually kicked
a work in progress.
That's where he ran.
He ran there. Yeah, exactly.
So Anthony Corrie, speaking of players back, playing just his first game of the season. Anthony Corrie, game number 32. He sends it along in the Hudson and Leuenberger direction. Thompson around the body, bouncing ball. He made it tough for Portpleasure, but he made it look okay. Portpleasure back again. Edwards was grabbed, dropped it, free kick, holding the ball.
But already Adelaide very quick to get 2 or 3 players to kick behind the ball, and it just stops Brisbane from playing on. They have really picked up since the mid-season break. They took risks, they played on it every opportunity and ran the ball. And that's the pressure they're putting themselves under.
Straight to Hudson, straight to McLeod. You said the Prince was on tonight. He misses.
But it's when your senior leaders are making mistakes like that, you know you're in trouble.
Yeah, look, it does look as if Brisbane just haven't got the firepower at the moment to go with Adelaide. And they've been impressive these last 2 weeks. They had a massive Indian arm wrestle with the Bulldogs, were here to play for their future last week, and they just ground them into the Adelaide turf. And they're applying the same sort of pressure with their capacity to run tonight. And they'll be dangerous if they make the finals.
Great commitment, Van Berlo, Shirley, Edwards, Tawney. And a launch from 52, but it's wide.
It's at that point, Jason, where Brisbane just have got to get a goal or two to keep themselves mentally in the game. Otherwise, it could be a bit of a debacle late in the match.
You mentioned their key players need to come into it. Powers had enough of the ball at 16, but a kick that just misses Jonathan Brown probably would have resulted in a goal. Nigel Lappin has had 8 possessions, can't get involved. Simon Black's had 6, including that dreadful turnover we just saw. So if they're not getting the ball, they're really going to struggle.
Stiller down the line, almost turns it over, does turn it over. Porplesia back inside 50, back to Stiller. And we'll start it all over again. The Brisbane Lions coaching panel, which includes former South Australian star and West Adelaide coach Sean Wren.
Well, they're on here.
Adcock to Corrie, who can run to 60, takes on McLeod.
Good vision.
And finds Power.
And great running from Luke Power to push up to become a target.
Good vision from young Anthony Corrie. He had a look inside when it would have been natural just to press ahead and kick to either Clark or Brown on the lead. But he saw Luke Power had pushed into space on the fat side, and he was all on his own. No pressure, just chip it over.
Massive kick for Luke Power, the co-captain.
As we just spoke about, the errors that their leading players are making, what hope have the younger players got when they see the guns doing that? It's just deflating.
John Cock sends it wide. Tawney, that's a good result. And we'll get a ball in. Lappin and Tawney head to head. Nigel Lappin will move up to 3rd all time on the Brisbane Games played list next week. Game 274. Passes Sean Hart. Edwards tied up. Lappin on cue, dives in. Adcock in there as well. And we'll get another ball up. 51 plays 20. Adelaide face Collingwood next Friday night at the Melbourne Cricket Ground, their last game. And the Lions face Geelong, the top of the ladder catch at the Gabba. Black trying to keep them in it. Kicks to the goal square, and he's got it. It looked for all money to be into the post, but he squeezed it in.
Monday night. Put the kids to bed early.
De Cockney's in a new adults-only US.
New comedy so naughty, the critics love it.
It looks like we're the proud parents of a lesbian daughter. Up high.
Californication starts 9:45 Monday.
First goal of the night for Simon Black, just possession number 8. 51 plays 26. From the ball up, Riley knocks it down to McLeod, caught. Handball up, but gathered by Shirley. Hands to Rutten. He's got Rashudo long. It's in his direction and gets there. Gill almost stole it from him. Tries to knock it back. Rashudo, boundary line, Stiller. And that's a win for Stiller. Who'll get a ball in.
I reckon it's a big ask, Jared, for Richard Hadley, who's now playing on Mark Rashudo. He would be giving away 10 or 15 kilos, a hell of a lot of strength.
Yeah, he is. He's got the motor to go with him. Maybe get Robbie Copeland down there and get just work it round a little bit, because he has not been able to find the footy tonight.
Wood down to Corrie, to Lappin. So some of the big name Brisbane stars, their senior players, starting to get a little bit of the leather. Wide ball to Jonathan Brown, who's come up to the wing to get some leather. To Notting. He hasn't got Jonathan Brown to go to with this kick. He's got Clark. That's ignored. Should have gone in because Stevens cuts it off.
Great job by Stevens. Worked the angle beautifully. Drop back. And as you can see now, goal should result.
Goodwin to Riley, towards Burton, bouncing ball. Corrie tries to corral him, does a reasonable job. Burton gets the shot away, and he's nailed.
Ben, the Toyota match winner.
Brian Taylor, 1990.
Shots from Brian Taylor, and again he has missed.
Not as impressive as Hilux 4x2 single cab workmate from 18990 with air. Hey, big fella. Yeah, he's sort of pretty little.
Hey, why wait till you've had a big night out to order souvlaki, mate? When you can pick one up right now at Red Rooster. New souvlaki chicken sub with chips, just $5.95. It's Thursday to Sunday only, so you've got to be quick, and it's got to be red.
Good work. Well, he kicked through behinds before that, Brett Burton. That's his first goal of the night.
A couple of different matchups now. Nigel Lappin's gone on to Andrew McLeod to try and stop his run, and Troy Selwood has now gone to Simon Goodwin.
Hudson took it out of the ruck against Wood. Edwards, he took on Power. Good tackle, that's ball. Crowd won't like it. And that was a definite free to Luke Power.
He milked time well there, Edwards. He got up horribly slowly and then just threw it to the moon before it went back to Power.
To Cameron Wood. Nodding. Just pumps it along and hopes. Jonathan Brown can't get a fly at it. Rutten, the spoil. Brennan over the top. Clark with the snap. Misses. Another behind. There's a tidy handball from Luke Brennan. Yep. Quick thinking. Should have been a goal. So to the open side. Tawney got it from Massey. He got it from Dowdy originally, who's coming to the side as a late inclusion for Chris Knights. And now wide ball from Edwards' boot to Gill.
They've really been able to outrun Brisbane tonight, haven't they, Jerry? They've just flogged them on transition.
Well, Shudo maybe trying to try something different up forward. Clark off, Johnson down there. Chris Johnson, who's been a capable full forward many times.
Chris Scott now back on Marcus Shudo.
And he sends it along to the square. Burton gets the fly from 8 deep. Gill front of the pack. But the marks think it was a free kick. So play on advantage. Stiller to Lappin. They haven't given this up yet, just yet, the Brisbane Lions. They're fighting hard. Riscatelli, Begley, not a lot to go to. Brennan saw Sherman, corner of his eye. Look away, handball was good. And the kick terrible. Stevens. It's just having one of those patches. Most players go through it at the moment where the harder you try, the worse things happen. And pre-season can't come quick enough for Justin Sherman.
And that one came off the shin.
Yeah. Dowdy got it from Tawney. Gives it short towards Port Pleasure. Good mark. Strong hands. Back to Dowdy. Now the kick inside, 50 from Massey. Toward the boundary with the punch. And we'll get a ball in. Meeson can't cut it off. The son of the famous Moose. His father was one of the greatest country footballers in the Geelong district. A radio star. Worked a lot on radio with some gurus like the great E.J. Whitten. Moose Meeson. Nice grab there from Port Pleasure as well. Good sticky hands. From the ball in. Thompson to Shirley. And he can't slide it through.
The only thing keeping Brisbane in the game at the moment, that's Adelaide's inaccuracy.
8 goals, 10. So 18 scoring shots to 7. Lappin. Inboard to Cameron Wood. And he's held up well by Doughty. Sherman. Black. Brennan calls for a short. Jonathan Brown's finally got a one-on-one and takes the mark, but tucked into the pocket. This is a difficult kick. He has kicked.
It's not dissimilar to the one that tied up the game last week. A tighter angle, but slightly closer in. But he certainly needs that sort of quality kick. He's found a loose player.
And he knows that ground a little better. Goes to Simon Black. Jeez, a good kick. And the good guys keep them in it.
2 in the quarter to Simon Black.
I'm lost, can't do my thing. That's why I sing, gimme that thing. Gimme that, gimme that, gimme that, gimme that thing. Gimme that, gimme that, gimme that thing. Gimme that, gimme that, gimme that thing. Gimme that, gimme that, gimme that, gimme that, gimme that, gimme that,
Second goal of the term for Simon Black. Just the 10 possessions so far tonight. Had a bit of a flat patch this year with just 9 possessions against Geelong and 11 against Port Adelaide. Every other game's been up there in the high 20s and 30s. And the ball up. Riscatelli through traffic. Shirley. And now the hack forward from Bob. Under it, Gill. Poor Pleasure. Caught by Hadley. Corey thumped it out, but to Thompson. Slips the handball wide. And it's a poke kick from Gill. Only a behind.
Certainly wasn't comfortable on the left peg, but it wasn't a bad option. He straightened, tried to get back on his natural foot. Just didn't strike it cleanly. Corey off, Notting back onto the ground for the Brisbane Lions.
And with Patfull not playing any further part in the game, it's Richard Hadley entrusted with the kick in to Merritt. And that's almost allowed by Adelaide. But Merritt will take it in the back pocket. Kicks long. Up in the Wood direction.
Oh, smart play.
Brilliant play by Notting. Sold the dummy, kicks to half forward. John Cock beats Johnson. Misses Meeson with the handball. Dumps it out. Rutten. All the way back to Shirley. The tackle taken across the line.
Well, credit to Brisbane. I reckon they were on the verge of getting whipped here tonight, and they've fought back pretty well. Long way to go. And go either way.
Brisbane did win last time these two teams met at Amy Stadium. It was back in 2005. Narrow victory to the Lions by 9 points.
Getting better at these contested balls and stoppages at the moment.
Power to Copeland. Can't complete the mark to Brennan. And we know what he can do. Little piece of magic. And Copeland can't pull the rabbit out of the hat.
All of a sudden that gets them back to within 3 goals in a game that they have no right to be this close to the opposition. They'd worked it well. A beautiful hand pass from Brennan. He wanted to be unselfish and give it to the runner, but in the end he just caught it right off the instep.
John Meeson on the wing. Chip kick, hoping for Bach. Got there. Good mark. Now Riley. And poor Pleasure marks on 50. And he's within range. Doesn't go for goal to Burton.
Well, I reckon there's an example there, Jason, of Brisbane of the last few weeks as against what we're seeing tonight. Those 3 kicks that came in inside the forward 50, players just a bit off the boil, a bit off the pace. They would have been intercepted, I reckon, the last 3 or 4 weeks. This time they were able to hit targets. Not enough people charging back from the middle to help block up and defend.
So 1 goal, 3 tonight. 21-15 for the year. Not bad off the boot. Doesn't come back enough. And another let-off for the Brisbane Lions.
He's a quality player, Jason Pleasure. He's virtually a midfield type that just plays forward. Yeah. He's not very big in stature, but a beautiful pair of hands. Great balance. Uses the football very well.
And another player who's resurrected his career, because he was a rookie back in 2003 with Adelaide, but sent back to the SANFL and taken in the pre-season draft in 2006. Riscatelli gets it from Stiller, gives it to Adcock, runs to 50, sends it towards full forward, getting back Copeland, and Stevens on the line, rushes behind. They're not done with yet, the Lions.
Here comes the fast rebound though.
Thompson. 7 minutes left on the clock to 3/4 time. Riley can run. He's got Burton short, that's ignored. Heads toward Welsh inside 50. Spectacular.
That's been the difference, and Scott Welsh committed a cardinal sin then. He turned his back on play as he was going back to take his shot for goal. Andrew McLeod and Graham Johncock were both pushing down into the goal square unmarked, so he needs to kick it now.
And we know how accurate he normally is. Normally.
That hurts.
Kick it after that game.
That hurts when you burn a couple of teammates and you miss it. But that's the difference between Brisbane and Adelaide tonight. Just when the turnover is affected, Adelaide are quick enough to move the ball very quickly to loose players running forward of the footy, whereas when they turn it over and Brisbane try to move the ball quickly, Adelaide have adjusted and got back to fill the holes much more quickly than the Brisbane Lions have.
And I reckon with the exception of maybe the West Coast Eagles. This side gut run better than just about anybody else, and they build it around. They basically want you to engage them in an endurance event, 400 metre after 400 metre, and they generally work sides over, and they're looming strongly at the moment.
Selwood found Copeland, but he couldn't take the mark, so a missed shot at goal, a drop mark for Robert Copeland.
Yeah, he's just had a couple bounce off his chest in the last few minutes, and he's been so good since moving forward after the break. He's proven a very dangerous player.
The tantalising thing about this match at the moment is 2 quick goals to Brisbane, and they're still not without a chance.
Massey to Riley, towards Bock on the wing. Quick grab. Hugged it into his bosom, even though Notting was side by side with him.
John Cock is waving his arms off. He can't grab his attention.
And slightly off the side of the boot, tough one. Pack flies, well stays down, slips it to McLeod. Little push, dispossessed. Through the legs of Van Berlo almost. Welsh, McLeod. This is well within his repertoire. Here's the Prince.
We're here in Melbourne to relive a classic footy moment that has it all.
Now, who else could give us all this?
Well, who else but the maestro? Hey, James Hurd.
Hey, guys.
All right, so it's Essendon 131, West Coast 131. 30 minutes and 48 seconds gone.
I'm right on the ball up and it's on.
He's got it.
Hey, maybe
you're the umpire.
I'm not the umpire, I'm bully. Bully gets it out the head. Wait, the fairy tale's complete. James Hurd, you are a champion. Yes. Give it a hug.
Big job for Anthony Corrie. The 2 ex-Darwin boys, side by side. Andrew McLeod, of course, 2-time Norm Smith medal winner and one of the greatest Darwin recruits of all time.
It'd be a privilege for Corrie.
It would be. From the ball up. Toward the wing. McLeod. Corrie brings him down. That's a win. And got him ball. Didn't really have proper opportunity.
It's a great decision by the umpire. It did initially start around the stomach and then it dropped low. But
well, Luke Powell's all on his own. He hasn't seen him wrong side.
And he heads toward Leuenberger. Finds him. Adelaide getting numbers back now. And that's a high bomb. Tough one for Jonathan Brown. Almost impossible. Goodwin. Stevens. John Cock. And he rushes it behind. Does the right thing by handballing it through so he gets the stat rather than just running it through. Edwards to Shirley. Drops the mark. Power. But a couple of options inside 50. Jonathan Brown flies and marks on the second grab. Not paid. And we'll get a ball up.
I think he knows he didn't get first touch on Jonathan Brown. He asked the question, but it looked like the left hand from John Cock just did enough.
Good call from the umpire.
You'd still claim it though, wouldn't you?
Oh, you'd have to have a crack at it.
From the ball up, Stevens down to Edwards. Bouncing ball. Now, will the umpire call this deliberate? He can't because it's kept in by Mason and then he dragged it out. St Johnson, I should say, and he dragged it out.
What's he paying here?
Just a throw-in.
So did Johnson fumbled across the line?
Paying a free kick here.
For wasting time.
So he said that it was out of play and Johnson kicked it away afterwards.
He's saying he knowingly knew it was out and he wasted time.
Knowingly knew?
Yeah.
It's a triple whammy.
Well, weren't you in a bit of tautology? Thanks for that.
I'm just glad someone else did it instead of me.
No, he played on.
No, I understand what you mean, Jerry, because if you guess and you get it right, you accidentally knew. But he knowingly knew.
Yeah, thanks for trying to help me. Throw the lifeline, but Jason, sorry, Dwayne, but
put the shovel away, boys.
It's not working.
Mason sends it inside 50. Rashudo from 5 deep, can't get near it. Leuenberger shuffled out a handball. Hadley missed power, forced to go in and collect it. Gives it up to Bock. Squeezes it to Thompson. Tried to throw it on his boot. And with 4 minutes left on the clock, we might get a ball up here. Inside 4 minutes, inside 50 for the Adelaide Crows. Lee Colbert.
Darren Goldsbig did pay the free kick, and he knowingly knew, boys.
Okay.
Yeah, being sledged from the boundary line.
Yeah, that's good.
Gee, that's tough. And we'll get a ball in forward pocket for Adelaide. 67-36. The great Mark Rasciuto, Brownlow medalist, 8-time All-Australian. And Brett Burton on the bench getting some work done.
Chris Johnson has also come from the ground, which means Nigel Lappin is back on for Brisbane.
Hudson and Leuenberger in the ruck. Down to Shirley. Got a kick away, and it's been marked by Power, but not 15. Keeps it alive to Corrie.
That was a great kick.
Adcock.
Good running here, out wide. Got to go hard now.
Hadley.
No support.
Back towards Corrie. In fact, shorter to Adcock. Corrie runs on, and he might still get it.
This is where Adelaide have been so good at holding Brisbane up, whereas when they go Adelaide, they go without stopping.
Back to Adcock.
He's also going to put a challenge up to Jonathan Brown when they count the DNF.
Stiller might go all the way from 50. Inside 3 minutes, it's off the side of the boot. And it's gobbled up in the back pocket by Matner. Toward Edwards. And Adelaide might have one last goal in them before three-quarter time. Van Berlo dump. Riley. Edwards. Caught by Power. Back to Riley. And they get out of it. Create the loose man to McLeod. Riley. All the way back to Edwards.
They're queuing up through the middle of the ground, the Crows.
Doughty.
Look at the run.
McLeod.
There you go again.
No one's in the goal square. Sends it long. John Cock getting back.
Wow. Stiffy, right guard.
They give you a kick from McLeod who saw him coming.
Well, that was great running, as you said, Jason. He took off in the defensive 50. You can see the Prince, and he just followed the ball. The Prince got it, saw him pretty well. That's a great grab, though.
Running with the fly to the ball.
And an ankle injury earlier this year to contend with Graham Johncock. But he's come good, maybe at the right time with Adelaide. A win tonight, back inside the 8, and September back in their plans. Inside 2 minutes to three-quarter time. And they can smell a little bit of victory now.
$1.10.
Yeah.
That's the price of petrol we need to make it back. How much we spend looking for petrol. The further we drive, the cheaper the petrol needs to be. I call it the Annabelle Principle.
Right.
Genius.
Huh?
For a smarter way to save, switch to Amy Flexi Premiums. Our new car and home customers saved on the price of their insurance.
Lucky you're with Amy.
First goal of the night for Graham Johncock from the great All-Indigenous Club from Port Lincoln, Mallee Park. It's given some superstars to the competition like Byron Pickett, Peter Burgoyne, Daniel Wells, Hudson out of the middle. Got a kick wide. Gill under it. Body on the line. Sherman extracted it, gave it to Power. Descended inside 50. Clark leads wide. Jonathan Brown currently out of the equation. Stevens shuffled it out, but to Brennan. He's gang tackled and brought down. Copeland toward Lappin. Back to Power. Back to Lappin. And it's getting uglier by the second for the Lions. No chemistry. Jonathan Brown dives, can't mark. And will pick the turf out of his teeth and will get a ball up.
No, I reckon he just smashed himself into the turf. Then he came lurching in. He always runs at 1,000,000 miles an hour trying to get there. That's a big crowd here, 46,500 at Amy. And many of them coming to send off Mark Rasciuto.
Yes, his last game at Amy Stadium. From the ball in, and Tawney takes it out of play. Of course, the Adelaide Crows still to play Collingwood next week at the Melbourne Cricket Ground. If they get a final, it's unlikely they'll get a home final. It's impossible to get one. So all finals will be played outside of Adelaide. Rutten to Edwards.
What about at Port Adelaide? Play Adelaide.
Nice one, Jared. That would be big.
Because I think that's one of the reasons why Adelaide, despite getting just into the 8 if they do that, they've got a chance to progress because they may we may have a showdown in the final.
So 5th versus 8th. Port Adelaide finished 5th, Crows 8th, and we've got a showdown, elimination showdown.
Even still, even if they travel to Melbourne, this side is really running well. It's teaming well. They're playing good footy at the right end of the season. You wouldn't want to be playing Adelaide in the finals early in the first couple of weeks.
Dying seconds of the third term, Corey to keep them in with some glimmer of hope, but he's missed. And it's a behind. There's not a breath of wind here at AAMI Stadium tonight, but both teams have been terribly inaccurate. And how will the umpire...
Well, this has actually worked in Adelaide's favour, because the kick missed its target, went out of bounds and would have been a turnover, a free kick to the Brisbane Lions. But as it stands, we'll have a bounce at the top of the square and they'll probably rush it through for a behind.
So they need a player on the goal line, surely, to try and stop that from happening. 20 seconds, 27 seconds left on the clock. Ball up, top of the square. They try and rush it behind, and they do. Wasn't anyone on the goal line. They succeed. And we'll do it all again. John Cock to Van Berlin. Riley. In the sense they know how long is left. Just mop these seconds up. Don't turn it over to Copeland. Rutten. Massey. And at three-quarter time here at AAMI Stadium, there's 46,507 pretty happy fans here. They're watching Mark Rasciuto in his last game at AAMI Stadium, unless, as Gerard says, they play Port Adelaide in a final here. Lee Matthews is going to have a big last term at the office, or next week will be the Brisbane Lions' last game of the season. Three-quarter time, 10-13-73. Plays 5-8-38.
From thousands, we're down to this.
Your top 24.
Live Sunday,
Monday,
Tuesday,
Wednesday,
and Thursday.
It's the Idols semi-finals.
Live over 5 nights, our idols will face their toughest judge, you. Your vote decides who stays and who goes.
And for the first time ever, see it in high definition.
Idols never looked so good
or sounded so sweet.
Idols semi-final week begins 7:30 Sunday.
I trust got this and this.
They trust got theirs, now you can trust get yours.
Trust wanted Sunday? Trust get it Sunday. Open Sunday, 3 stores.
Trust wanted, trust get it, trust got.
Boho Bar, Unley Road, Parkside. 5 senses, 1 bar.
Hey Mark, what's on the menu today at Cafe Primo?
We've got a tasty chicken burger for $9.90, a chicken Caesar salad for $9.90, and spaghetti Napolitana for $9.90.
Cafe Primo.
Primo quality.
Primo price.
You can go into any department and buy something for Dad for Father's Day.
Rapid wrench, $28.90. Air compressor, $98. Tool trolley combo, $119. Drilling and screw driving toolbox, $59. Barbecue herb pack, $15.98.
The little kids that have actually saved their own money get a greater kick out of it, and that's great. And it doesn't matter what the gift is, it's the glory of they have actually saved the money and they can give that gift to Dad.
Bunnings Warehouse.
Lowest prices are just the beginning.
When it comes to having a feed and it's time to cough up, my mates reckon I'm a pain in the butt. And that's why I eat at Subway restaurants. There's stacks of regular Subway 6-inch subs to choose from, and they're all just $3.95.
6 different great tasting regular Subway 6-inch subs available all day every day for just $3.95.
Alright, I admit it. I might be a little bit choosy, but you know that I'm right on the money.
Everyday value for just $3.95. Subway, eat fresh.
I trust got this and this.
Trust get ready, trust get set, go to Truscott's for 12.5% off all high-definition plasmas and LCD TVs. 5 days only, offer ends Sunday.
Trust wanted, trust get it, trust got.
The new Mitsubishi 380 Sports with spoiler, sunroof, 17-inch alloys and backed by Mitsubishi's Diamond Advantage from just $28,990. When you think hard about it, you won't find better.
The 2007 Toyota AFL Premiership season, proudly brought to you by our broadcast partners. Toyota, footy, oh what a feeling. Amy, lucky you're with Amy. Stratco, for all your hardware and home improvement needs. Truscott's, all day, every day, no deposit and interest-free. Booze Brothers, proudly South Australian owned. And Jim's Mowing for all your gardening needs.
Adelaide by 24 points to start this second half. Hudson and Leuenberger in the ruck. Little toe poke off the deck from Riley. Rolls it to half forward for Pleasure. Goodwin for the perfect start from 50. The general slides it home. Three-quarter time here at Amy Stadium, and the Adelaide Crows have the smell of September in their nostrils. 10-13-73 for the Brisbane Lions. 5-8-38, gentlemen. They need a massive turnaround here, the Brisbane Lions, to keep their season alive.
Well, they need to virtually double their score and keep Adelaide scoreless. Now, it's almost impossible to see that happening. One-sided affair, the inside 50s. When you're down that much, it is nearly impossible. In particular, the clearances as well. You're getting smacked 2-1 at the clearances. You're not getting possession through the middle of the ground. You're always on the back foot. You're not getting enough ball going forward. What hope have you got of kicking a winning score? And they're very fortunate tonight that Adelaide have been very inaccurate in front of goal, or the margin would have been a lot more than the 35 points it currently sits at.
The Mexican wave heading around Amy Stadium. Either that or someone said, put your hand up if you love Mark Rasciuto, because it is Mark Rasciuto night here tonight. Lee Colbert's down on the boundary line.
You're right, Dwayne. It is the Mexican wave. They haven't banned it from the footy. It is from the cricket. But Andrew McLeod actually spent a fair bit of time with Neil Craig during the break, giving him some instructions, and he spent the last bit of the third term on the bench. So the Prince still spent some time on the bench. Don't worry about that.
It was amazing how much time he spent with him, Lee. It was probably at least 50% of his time there out in the three-quarter time huddle.
And yeah, it was a couple of minutes, so as I said, he's getting plenty of instruction from the coach.
It just looks like, Jared, there's a little bit of explanation going into it with Neil Craig saying, I know you're getting a lot of the ball, but bear in mind these are the structures we're trying to work within. Just don't forget about them.
Brisbane Lions need to win tonight. They've got a massive assignment next week. Even if they win tonight, they've got Geelong at the Gabba, the top team in the competition. Whereas the Adelaide Crows, they win tonight, they'll be in the 8 with one round remaining, and then the equation next week is simple. Beat Collingwood and they play finals.
It's amazing how football's changed. In the old days when the coach said on your bike, you're a gentleman of the club. Now you're just having a warm-up.
And sometimes you've got to spend most of the quarter there before you get back on. From the ball up, Wood against Hudson. Nice palm down to Black, to Power. Punched away. Van Berlo, little fumble. Adcock played for the 3. Van Berlo got it back to Riley. Tawney. He backtracks. Graham Johncock. Spears it to Shirley. Dishes back to Van Berlo. And wide towards Thompson. Wants Riley. In fact, goes a little wider. Van Berlo forced to tangle up with Corrie. Free kick to the Brisbane line. Play on advantage as Black finds Power. Haven't seen a lot of Jonathan Brown tonight. This ball back in his direction, but Stevens gathers, gives it up to Johnson. Caught by Rutten. And the umpire's found something. It's a free kick to the Brisbane Lions, and he go to Johnson.
This is the earlier one where we saw Adcock.
Oh, he definitely got one in the head.
The handoff. Sherman, who loves the goal, misses the goal to start this final term.
Well, if they were going to pull a rabbit out of the hat, they needed to kick that first one within, the first minute or two of play. Unfortunately for Justin Sherman, a pretty average night continues.
Matner, back to Rutten. Riley, Wood forced to spoil. Back down in the Rutten direction. And got a little nudge. Tawney. Riley. And now the chip kick to Shirley. Thought about playing on.
You need to take your hat off to Robert Shirley. The job that he's done on Simon Black. Black's had just the 13 possessions, and Shirley has been terrific with 23 of his own.
Finds Gill. He sent it long. Getting back is Merritt, who takes the mark.
He too has been one of Brisbane's best players this season. Yep. Daniel Merritt. Lee Matthews entrusted him with the fullback spot a couple of years ago. He's been a project player of sorts, but really has come on this year.
Wood takes on Thompson and spears the pass to Corey.
Jeez, I tell you, if you're a recruiting officer, you saw that.
Some precise play and the short pass to Johnson.
Isn't it great to see a ruckman run around a midfielder instead of the other way around?
And Johnson's centering kick heads in the Jonathan Brown direction, and he's got it. So well played all the way from fullback by Cameron Wood. Back at his old home venue here at Amy Stadium. Played under Sean Wren at West Adelaide, and now still plays under Sean Wren, an assistant with the Brisbane Lions.
That was a U-turn pass for Jonathan Brown too. He was heading to goal and just kicked it knowing that Johnson knew where he was heading.
Only got the one so far tonight, Jonathan Brown. And it's been a disappointing night at the office for the man who looks like winning the Coleman medal. There is Sean Wren to the left. Just above Craig Lambert, Justin Lepich, Paul Hudson. Some great players there. Lee Matthews, arguably the greatest we've ever seen play with the Sharon. Tawney from half-back. 73 plays 40. Just the knockout blow required from Adelaide, and then it's all over. Van Berlo, Adcock. Lions playing off the ropes.
Just got to get a goal.
Stiller, Sherman to Power. Back to Stiller. Jonathan Brown leads short. Black spears it inside 50. John Cock left it behind. Goes back in. Plays for the free. Doesn't get it. Tawney steals. Stevens. Shirley again. And through traffic. Can't hit the target. Corey thumps it down towards Stiller. And much the commit, but body on the line gets a free.
Oh, a bit of a talking to Brent Riley. He's been reported.
Has taken his number.
Very keen to have a look at this. Well, he's saying he's slid in, I think, with the knees, but I don't think too much is going to come from that. In fact, I don't think much at all will come from that.
He did get a little bit of head, but I think umpire Goldsprint just erring on the side of caution there.
With the hip and shoulder, slithing on the knees, hip and shoulder, maybe the bottom of the elbow, just brushed the head, but I don't think he'll have too much to worry about.
Johnson from outside 50. 73 to 40. Brisbane Lions know they've only got one last roll of the dice here. And the mark taken by Shirley again.
Well, that's disappointing. You've got Jonathan Brown, you've got Cameron Wood, you've got Jared Brennan all up there forward. None of them flew.
Riley flies against Stiller. Boundary line looming. And he keeps it alive. Massey, Riley, Shirley. Gets on the end of the handball from Van Berlo. The old 1-2-3.
Got the paddock sorted out here.
And Gill leads into it, takes them up.
There goes the Birdman into space, trying to drop off Merritt on the way through.
Oh, blind turn from McLeod, and then inside 50 to Port Pleasure. That is as good as it gets.
Another kick. He lost his direct opponent, Colin Begley, by about 20 metres, Jason Portlesia. Begley just got caught following the ball, which was dragging them all towards the pocket. Portlesia just doubled back into the corridor, all on his own.
Haven't heard blind turn for about 2 or 3 years, Dwayne, but you've pulled it out at the right time. It's a magic movement.
No wonder Colin Beckley was confused. I don't think the Irishman's ever seen one. Portlesia. And that's a nail in the coffin.
It's bonus time in Harvey Norman's Camera Bonus Bonanza. 4 days of hot deals on digital cameras and video cameras, just in time for Father's Day. Plus, get up to $200 bonus Harvey Norman gift vouchers on all cameras. Now's the time to buy the perfect gift for Dad with never-to-be-repeated deals. You could win one of 10 fantastic Jayco Eagle camper trailers. Plus, get up to $200 bonus gift vouchers on all cameras now. Hurry, Harvey Norman's Camera Bonus Bonanza must end this weekend. And remember, we won't be beaten on price.
Go!
79 plays 40. Not a spare seat in the house at Amy Stadium tonight. Thompson, Goodwin having an outstanding game. His first half spectacular to Tawney. Johncock. And now Burton comes hard. Thompson there with him. Burton's kick not that spectacular, although Tawney waits under it, and big score by Hancock. Pumps it out of play. He's hurt himself in the process.
He's had a terrific year, this young kid. He's worked his way from the half-back line through the middle, and he's continued to progress as a player, really building a name for himself.
He's played every game this year, played only 8 games last year with that quad injury keeping him out. Gill flies. Corrie. And now Begley. Power. And held out by Gill. He did the chasing well, although handball back to Begley. He'll send it inside 50. Just a high kick. Lappin can't get a hand on it. Clark might go off the deck. He does, but McLeod gets back. Rushes the behind. No need to take any chances. And inside 14 minutes to full time. 79 plays 40. McLeod to Thompson.
And now on the big expanse of this ground, it just becomes an issue of the will to run. And when you're that far down, you can't win the game. The incentive is much greater now for Adelaide to continue to run, to build their percentage, to lock their spot in the finals, than it is for Brisbane. So they'll do well to prevent the floodgates from opening.
Burton and Rashido, who used to share a house together. Little collision on the boundary line, and we'll get a ball in.
He'd love to cap things with a goal or two tonight, Mark Rashido. Just the 8 possessions, 1 behind to his name.
Hartson through traffic. Slips it towards Gill and Port Pleasure, who tries to keep it alive. Unsuccessful. We'll get a ball in. It's just the fact that Mark Rashido might play finals will be inspiring for him. He equals Ben Hart's 311-game club record next week, and then first final, he will become the game's record holder with the Adelaide Football Club, Mark Rashido. Dowdy, Gill. Inside 50, back towards Port Pleasure. Burton still under them, and he shovels it out tunnel ball style. And Lappin caught high by Rashido gets the free. From half-back, everything against the lines now. Scoreboard, time, fitness, crowd, and it's one of the biggest non-showdown, non-finals crowds at Amy Stadium. 46,507 tonight. Lee Matthews working overtime, making sure that message is getting through to the runner. Brennan. Boundary line. Sherman can't keep it in.
It's interesting, we've spoken about Justin Sherman a bit tonight, Jared. His endeavour is still there.
Oh, yeah.
His work rate's still there. He's just a good young player that's way down on confidence.
Yeah, I think that's where it's finished up. He would probably got ahead of himself early in the season, and it didn't work for him. He may not have had the base to draw on if he didn't train quite as hard in the off-season.
Oh, he's hurt too, Selwood. He's tackled into the deck.
Yeah, could be an AC joint.
Matner to Shirley again from half-back in the Birdman's direction.
Chris Scott's had a pretty good game given the problems he had coming in 2 years out.
I don't think he's injured himself per se, sir, but I think he half knocked himself out. He was wobbly when he's in the hands of the trainers, and he's not quite with it at the moment.
Nice hands from the shootout.
They're trying to bring him off. They're dragging him off by the arm.
Goodwin to Edwards in the meantime. Gill. Well, this will test him from the pocket. No one expects him to get it, he might. And he doesn't. Misses to the near side.
That was an interesting affair. They virtually had to drag Troy Selwood off by force. He wasn't quite with it. He wanted to stay out there. But the physios grabbed him by the arm and said, no, you've got to come off. You just see the head. The head hits the turf, and he's partly concussed.
Well, it's better to be knocked out than do your AC joint.
Yes.
Although some might argue. Brennan. Corrie.
His defensive work rate, Nick Gill, is excellent.
And he nearly cuts him down, Corrie. Nodding. Short to Jonathan Brown, who once again can't half volley it. And Rutten wins the battle again. With a little 1-2 from Matner. Sends it toward the wing. Nodding. Gets back. Still, in fact, it is. Got back with Edwards. And won it to Brennan. Caught by Park. And too high.
Very lucky, not a hand pass from Cheney Still. That one, they just put a teammate under pressure. Too loopy when you go over the top.
All the way back to Merritt. Ben Rutten's game on Jonathan Brown.
Excellent.
Has been excellent again tonight. All-Australian back in 2005, Ben Rutten. Still didn't get a Brownlow vote that year and still has never had one. Would be a contender for one tonight, surely. The form Jonathan Brown's been in. Hadley wide to Clark. It's been one of their better players, although I'm not getting much support here in the box. Short towards Copeland. And Riscatelli can't keep it in.
Well, Jason's never considered a fullback worth a vote in his whole life.
If you guys won't talk to me, I'm going down to Lee Colby. Colby!
I'll back you in, Dwayno. No worries about that. Scotty Welsh still getting some treatment down here by the Adelaide doctors, and Troy Selwood's okay. You're right, he knocked himself out momentarily.
One of those tackles that have become a bit of a concern, the slam tackle.
Goodwin to Bob. 80 plays 41. Mark Rasciuto's last game at Amy Stadium. Perhaps 99% sure, unless they play Port Adelaide in a final here, in a showdown final, which would be awesome when you consider it. Dowdy wide, and Thompson takes the mark on 50. And with the scoreline 80 to 41, inside 10 minutes, you might as well load up.
Yeah, a bit of junk time now, but just reflecting on Brisbane's year, Jason, they have got Geelong to finish it off, but I reckon they'll get to the review of the season and say, well, it's a big step forward this year.
Absolutely. I think they surprised a lot of teams. They had a great patch after the mid-season break, and I think they're a little further advanced than a lot of people thought they would be.
Got to bear in mind that Jamie Sharman, one of their most influential players, isn't playing tonight.
And they had Bradshaw out all year. And it's been their main goal kicker to go to. Holding the ball on the wing.
Yeah, he was a big loss down there, Bradshaw. Massive loss. He takes a lot of pressure, a lot of focus away from Jonathan Brown.
Great tackle. Riscatelli dragged down. Back to Copeland. Short to Power. And he's got a short on inside 50. It's Clark, who can't half volley it. Dishes it up to Massey. Here they go again.
That's been the standard delivery into the forward line tonight. Just a metre too short, 2 or 3 feet too low.
John Cock, Edwards, Tawney, Van Berlo, and now Rasciuto in front of the adoring outer at Amy Stadium. And the kick not so good. Bach tries to make it look okay, but gives the free away for too high. We sense that Neil Craig asked him to show some desperation whilst he was on the bench. A little overzealous with the tackle. Chris Johnson.
Plenty of Adelaide numbers ahead of him.
Tawney brings him down.
Well, at that particular point in time, there were 6 Adelaide throws in the defensive 50, and Jonathan Brown deep, Robert Copeland up at the 50-metre mark. There's just no chance of kicking through a teammate.
Been around a long time. He's been dodging around blokes, making them look silly a long time. And Jason Kearney has seen his tricks. He knew what Chris Johnson was up to, probably before Chris did.
Clark hurt himself diving for that half volley mark. Brown. Rutten corralled him to Stiller. And from 45, gets himself a consolation prize.
A Toyota match winner, BT.
Lloydie's 11 goals.
Lloyd good, but select Camry Altis Auto with free rego, CTP and rear park assist from $28,888.
Even better.
Homer eats Whopper, takes 75. Excellent.
Double meat, double cheese, double...
He was a lucky pickup for Brisbane, Shaney Stiller. He's a local product. He was going to go in the draft, a few thought. He stepped on a broken bottle a couple of weeks before the draft and couldn't train with the clubs that invited him out. And Brisbane just took him after that on the rookie list. And he's proven to be a very good player for them. From the kick to half forward, Begley. Caught. Lappin, Welsh dives in. Still fighting hard, McLeod. Toward Paul Pleasure and Bott, they collide. Meeson's back there. He can't trap it. Ball still alive. Welsh came hard. Knows where they are. And it his left box to bounce through, but it didn't.
He won't do that again.
That is poor judgment, Nathan. Well, it wasn't even close.
Well, even if you know it's going through, you still grab it and kick it yourself.
Yeah, that's the easy one.
It's the old rule. Sherman sends it wide towards the wing. And John Cock will mob it up. Pops it towards Van Berlo. He's also had a good evening at the office. Long kick, high kick. Oh! And he may have hurt himself. He bounces up. Gee, he knew that was his opportunity for mark of the century. And it just didn't sit right. Leuenberger, Burton, Paul Pleasure. Dished out the Rashudo. Chris Scott. Two old boys stealing from each other. And he sends it wide. John Cock and Johnson still tied up. Still tied up. Lappin caught by Van Berlo. Doughty. John Cock feeds it off. McLeod. Impossible angle. Almost put it in the book normally, but across the face and out of play.
I think it was the alley-oop. He was setting up the Birdman for the big fly again. Just got it wrong.
Gee, it's a massive lead. You could see it coming. He just got flipped and then, oh, didn't he land heavily? Did well to bounce straight back up.
I think Hadley did the right thing. Felt him there and he dropped. Which took him off the run for the flight path.
Well, hard not to feel him when you get a couple of knees to the back of the head.
From the ball in. Goodwin. And do you think he should be captain, Simon Goodwin, gentlemen?
Well, I think he's the obvious one. It might only be a short-term solution, but I don't think there is a younger captain in waiting that is a ready-made standout.
What about McLeod?
Well, he's the same sort of thing. It's going to be very short-term, isn't it?
Yeah, but almost the reward is due. Short to power. And they've been two grand players, the pair of them. Adcock. And now Sherman, who's got Brennan, who's got two to beat. Can get a fly at it. Off hands. Rutten rides the tackle to Matner. Brown collects it. Can't get a kick away. Dispossessed. Copeland socking it off the deck. Brennan tried to do the same. They rush behind.
Good desperation. I mean, the Crows have got nothing to play for right now, and yet they're still flogging themselves, as are the Brisbane Lions. So I think both coaches won't be doubting the effort tonight.
Just a matter of making sure there's no injuries, no more reports. Of course, the man with the ball now has had his number taken, but it was an incident that he shouldn't be too worried about, you wouldn't think. Lappin shrugs the tackle. Adcock. Brown all the way down to the centre of the ground. Copeland. And dishes off to Begley, who can launch a long ball from 50. He sends it long and, well, who else? Stevens has been awesome all night, and he got back on the line and stopped a certain goal. Massey.
Some very tired players out there at the moment. There are plenty of loose players on the ground because once the turnover's affected...
Just like that,
no, a lot of players too tired to recover.
McLeod inside 50 and Chris Scott.
Been a good return for Chris Scott. He's battled hard tonight.
He's not played for 2 years. He was out all last year with that hip and will play his final game for the Brisbane Lions at home at the Gabba next week, Chris Scott. Here he is on cue to Lappin. And this next week will be game 215. Good career, isn't it? Great career. And what a great career the two twins had. Of course, he's the older brother, but he outlasted his younger brother in terms of his playing days. Riscatelli short.
Unfortunately, neither of them could keep the body intact to play in the 3 premierships.
He always said that he was quicker than his brother. When he was first born, of course. Sherman sends it long to the top of the square. Jonathan Brown flies. Johnson off hands. Can't get the snap away, but Robert Copeland does. And a little bit of wallpaper over the cracks.
Ben, your Toyota match winner.
Hurd, 2004.
That is an astonishing goal.
Good, but not as good as V6 Orion ATX with free rego and CTP from just $34,990.
Hey, why wait till you've had a big night out to Orashuvlaki, mate? When you can pick one up right now at Red Rooster. New Shuvlaki chicken sub with chips, just $5.95. It's Thursday to Sunday only, so you've got to be quick, and it's got to be red.
Brady plays 54. But a good performance from Adelaide at home. And Mason in the ruck up against Wood. And the ball up. Cameron Wood, the nominees for the NAB Rising Star this year. Got the palm down. Welsh, short to Portpleasure. Up to Rashido, up to McLeod, short to Bob.
Did you see the way Jason Portpleasure trapped the ball at ground level that was travelling and in the same motion picked it up and delivered a hand pass? They are exquisite skills that he possesses. See the ball coming in. Look at that, traps it with one hand, parries it, then picks it up and shoots the hand pass out.
Well, they were a footballing family as soon as they arrived from the Ukraine, the Portpleasures. His uncle played in the SANFL for Port Adelaide for a number of years. And this is only game number 24 for Jason, so still got a big career ahead of him. Nathan Bock in the pocket. And that's nice off the boot. He's got two.
Well, they're just tested those ones. A brilliant kick. And he just executed perfectly. But this is what we marvelled at. That's great skills. Try doing that when you're 43. You need a little bit more suppleness in the back than most ex-footballers get. But that is just magnificent stuff. Very few players, in fact, can run flat out with their hands down around the ground. Yep. David Murphy from the Sydney Swans was one of the juniors. Alex Jezelenko also had that uncanny ability.
So the Adelaide Crows will be in the 8 tonight with one game left to play for 2007 for the home and away season against Collingwood at the MCG next Friday night. They win that and the Crows will play finals in 2007. And they might threaten a few teams as well. It's
pretty impressive victory. It is, and they'll fancy their chances against the Pies next week. Collingwood have been terrific all year, but they have just tapered a little bit in recent weeks.
Kick towards half forward. Gill still fighting hard, couldn't get a hand on it, still it does to Corrie, whose first game for the year has been a good game. Short, Sherman, and he sends it long, but getting back, Stevens, and Copeland got him a hole and took the mark.
There's no doubt that they've looked a lot better, Justin Sherman, with him up in that half-forward line, where he probably dominated last year in a number of matches.
And just chasing the ball rather than looking after opponent, but he does need to learn to play all the different facets of the game.
With a minute left on the clock. Tough kick. Nothing really riding on it. Although percentage could be a factor for Adelaide, if not Brisbane. And he slips it through.
Well, it's a very flattering margin for the Brisbane Lions.
It is, but they still have to work hard. They still have to work hard to stay in the contest. I mean, they could have been blown away early.
But if you told me the margin was 10 goals, I wouldn't batter an eyelid.
No.
Looking at the game that we've just
And it could have been 10 goals if they dropped their work rate. And I thought there were signs of that late in the third quarter, and yet they maintain the courage to run. I think that'll hold them in good stead, particularly a lot of these younger players as they face the challenges later in their career.
26 points the margin. And as we've said, it has been a little flattering. They've had this one wrapped up for a while. Thompson. Gill tied up. Ball taken from him. Mason rolls it towards half forward. Portpleasure again to Edwards. They've maybe got one last goal in the Adelaide end. Merritt's fist wins out that sensational fist from Daniel Merritt. He's the #1 in the competition for effective spoils this year. I'm not too sure how they measure them, either spoils that find a boundary line or someone's ear.
He's the #1 in the universe for effective left-hand spoils too.
Still tied up. Of course, you'd have to find an ear without getting a free kick away, and that would make it effective. It's been an effective night for Adelaide. 20 seconds from a massive roar here. Mark Rashido's last game at Amy Stadium, almost to an end. Johncock. McLeod. Handball to Johncock again. Oh, took on the tackles
Riscatelli. Well done, Riscatelli. Got the severe bump, got up, played the game on. 26-point win to Adelaide. And that's almost a sideshow right now to the Mark Rashido story. Two retiring champions, Chris Scott with Mark Rashido in his final game at AAMI Stadium. It's been an outstanding career. This is game 310. He will equal the club record held by Ben Hart next week, 311th game. And if the Adelaide Crows defeat Collingwood at the MCG next Friday night, Mark Rashido will play in the finals and become the Adelaide Crows all-time games record holder. Simon Goodwin, big night for him. Spent the last portion of it on the bench, but he was a general. 31 possessions for Simon Goodwin. And a big crowd of 46,507 about to give one last salute to the great Roo. Jonathan Brown well held by Ben Rutten tonight. Just the one goal for Jonathan Brown. Robert Shirley outstanding. Ben Rutten with Cameron Wood. And one of the stars of the show is downstairs with Lee Colbert.
Andrew, great win. Back in the 8, the boys.
Oh, yeah, mate. Look, it's, you know, we've been under the pump a fair bit, and, you know, it's, we knew we had to win, a must-win game for us, so came out here, full house, and, you know, it's a great way to play, a great way to finish off our home game.
And a big occasion, of course, for the captain. He's been a sensation, hasn't he?
Oh, yeah, it is, and, you know, it's been well documented the last couple of weeks about his career and that, and, you know, it's important for, I suppose, all the fans and for us as a club to really, you know, step up, and that's something we did tonight, and, you know, hopefully that'll leave a good memory for Roo.
Now, mate, you had a big chat at three-quarter time with the coach. Was it all good? He obviously said something about blind turns because you pulled a couple of them in the last.
Oh, no, he just talking to me about my positioning and, you know, where I was playing, so it wasn't much, but just having a bit of a chit-chat.
30-odd touches, mate. Well done. Great win, and enjoy the next couple of weeks.
Thanks, Calvin. Cheers, bud.
There's 31 possessions for Andrew McLeod, and Neil Craig was an outstanding midfielder in his own right. People around Australia might not necessarily know how good a footballer he was in the SANFL and for South Australia. Speaking of which, Mark Rashido, we talked about the greatest South Australian footballers of all time earlier, and it's probably best summed up by Mark Rashido's great friend Simon Goodwin, who said he is the best footballer South Australia has ever had, but he's a better bloke than he is footballer. And he's downstairs with Lee Colbert.
He is a great fella, and Roo, how's it feel, mate, to run out on Footy Park, AAMI Stadium for possibly the last time?
Yeah, hopefully we'll get one more crack, but it's a huge crowd again tonight. They've been fantastic the whole career, so thanks very much to all the supporters here in Adelaide. I hope we can finish it off with another good game next week.
The boys mentioned during the call he would have loved a couple of goals in that last quarter, I reckon.
Yeah, it would have been good, but the other boys were playing well. It was pretty tight down there tonight. They dropped back into the spot pretty well, but I thought the forwards did a pretty good job, even though we didn't kick that straight.
And the body's pulled up all right. You'll be right to go for the Maggies next week?
Yeah, nothing will stop me next week, but no, really looking forward to it. The boys are starting to hit some form.
Good on you, Roo. Well done.
Thanks, Lee. Cheers.
And a guard of honour and a giving of jumpers here to complete proceedings at AAMI Stadium. What a career it's been for Mark Rashido, gentlemen. Just briefly, he missed that 1997 premiership and then played in 1998. Brownlow medal, 8-time All-Australian and 3 best and fairests. And he's been just a dream to watch.
And absolutely thrilled that he'll be able to play next week and at least equal the Crows games record of Ben Hart. I mean, it's fitting. Nothing against Ben Hart, and I think it'd be great if the two of them actually shared it, but he may actually play one more in the finals.
Great win at home to the Adelaide Crows by 26 points, 12-14-86 to Brisbane, 8-12-60.
Sunday on 10. These models have bigger issues to deal with than just this competition.
Are you calling me fat? That's so bitchy. And she goes, it is on. It is on.
Next Top Model, 6:30 Sunday.
Sony hope you enjoyed tonight's big AFL game. Brought to you in full-on, full HD.
Mary, you're the one.
So, what's the surprise? Oh. This tastes sensational.
You'll be surprised by KFC's boneless fillets. Premium skinless fillets lightly coated in the Colonel's original recipe. Now in a boneless dinner box.
This is just perfect.
KFC's boneless dinner box.
Remember years ago when Father's Day was special?
Yeah.
We'd thank him properly for building the deck, fixing the gate and painting the house.
He thought it was grouse.
Now it's grooming products and cookbooks written by footy players, no more.
Pop round to your local home hardware and they'll help you give Dad a proper Father's Day with a proper gift.
Like an Exceed circular saw, only $29.95. Or a Tough GMC powered tape measure, just $19.95.
Get it all at your local home timber and hardware.
The proper hardware store.
We're always told repeatedly the very best in life is free. And if you want to prove it's true, baby, I'm telling you, this is what you should do. Just help yourself to my lips, to my arms, just say the word and they are yours.
Want your own legendary moments? Thanks to Mars, you and a friend have a chance to be at the World Series Baseball, Dubai World Cup, Monaco Grand Prix, Wimbledon Finals and the NFL Super Bowl. Simply SMS Mars 1977 2222 with your name and address for your chance to win.
Australian Four-Wheel Drive Monthly has named Mazda BT50 Four-Wheel Drive Ute of the Year. And that's bloody terrific.
Bloody turkey.
Nah,
bloody terrific.
BT50 Four-Wheel Drive Ute of the Year.
We used to give Dad proper Father's Day gifts. Now it's cookbooks written by footy players.
So your local home hardware knows what he wants.
An Exceed circular saw, only $29.95, and a Del Terra 3-piece patio setting, $99.
Home timber and hardware.
The proper hardware store.
If you buy any McDonald's Name It Burger McValue meal this week, Ken Thomas will shout you a free hot pie made from apples, which he named the Hot Apple Pie.
Plane crash will stump the FBI.
Probably hit the ground full force.
So no witnesses. How do you piece together a crime when all the evidence is obliterated? New numbers, 9:30 Tuesday.
Crows find themselves inside the 8 after a 26-point win over the Brisbane Lions. They really did control the match from start to finish. The margin perhaps should have been considerably bigger than what we saw at the final siren. Led at every single change and certainly in the second half in complete control in that match at Amy Stadium. The goal kickers, well, not too many bags kicked. Bock and Goodwin with multiples, Copeland and Black for the Brisbane Lions. Plenty of big possession winners. Riley with 38, Edwards 32, Goodwin 31, McLeod also had 31. Luke Powell, the best for the Brisbane Lions with 29. It was pretty comprehensive in the Adelaide Crows' favours. Jared, one of your favourite players, Andrew McLeod. You called him the Prince all night. He turned it on, didn't he?
Yeah, I love watching Andrew McLeod. He's been one of the most fascinating players to watch right throughout his career. Bear in mind he was given away by Fremantle very early in the Peeps.
Just thought you'd stick that one into him again?
Well, it's just one of those facts of life that people didn't see his unique skills, or maybe he didn't dedicate himself early enough, but he's had one of the great careers of the modern era, and there's plenty to go because he hasn't lost any pace. That was brilliant vision. Sidesteps better than anybody. Plays well in big games. He is just a great of the game.
31 possessions to him and a goal. He had plenty of mates. Simon Goodwin was probably the best man on the ground when the game was in the balance in the first half. He dominated as well. He kicked a couple to go with his 31 possessions, covered plenty of ground.
And that's why they're so dangerous. They're big running midfielders. Their big names are playing well. If Rashuda, I thought it was a gamble to play Rashuda today, but a calculated risk from the coach. He's now got one under the belt. If he can get away with a victory next week against the Pies, he goes in probably to a final with 2 games under the belt. And if their midfield get on top, they know they've got a really good defence. If their midfield get on top, they're going to be hard to stop.
Yeah, there's another member of that trio that tends to get plenty of possession through the middle of the ground. That's Tyson Edwards. He chalked up a lazy 31 as well and kicked the goal.
Yeah, I think Tyson Edwards and Riley and Van Burlo to a lesser extent are guys that are just consistent workers, great runners, do jobs at times, can attack. They're utilities in many respects, and he's had another great career. And I mean, this is a side that's got the capacity, Jason, to have a blinder in September and push through to the grand final. Now, whether or not they can do that all depends on whether they get it right on the day, but they've got the running power. I think that's the great asset they've got. They'll be challenged next week against the Pies. I'm not sure if it's at the MCG or Telstra Dome, but if it's in the dry, I think their running power actually comes to the fore even more.
Yeah, they've also got experience and a lot of faith in their own ability come September, so they could be a genuine threat should they get there. Jonathan Brown, the leading goal kicker this year, just the one. He didn't have it all his own way, often double and triple team, but Ben Rutten, in a lot of important one-on-one contests, more than held his own. He is a star key defensive player.
Oh, he's a beauty. He's just got better and better as the season's gone on, and his career has unfolded. Reads the ball really well. And he was up against the man mountain of the competition, and he covered him pretty well. He's as quick, he's as big, he's probably bigger actually, and he is as strong. So he was helped out to a degree, but I don't think Jonathan Brown got any favours from his midfield today. Delivery poor.
And we saw a man just at the end of that clip, the number 28 for the Brisbane Lions. He's growing in stature as well, Troy Selwood. He's had a few injury problems this year, missed a little bit of footy, but he covered a lot of ground. He had 20-odd possession in the first half. He had to go on to Simon Goodwin in the second half and actually did reduce his influence to some degree.
I know you're a big rap for this guy, and he's probably cut from the same cloth as his West Coast Eagles brother and Adam. Joel, I guess, is having a stellar year down at Geelong, probably more of an attacking player at the present time, but they win some fantastic footy, and he's building a good start to a career.
Well, Lee Colbert has made his way down to the Adelaide Crows rooms, and he's caught up with one of the stars of this evening's events, Simon Goodwin.
Simon, well done on the win. It looks like the boys have got a fair bit of improvement still left.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, we played some really good footy in that first half, but, you know, we kept kicking points. So we got that little bit of improvement still in us in the second half. We just got to improve on that as well.
And your own form, mate, you found plenty of the ball, and they even stuck Troy Selwood on you in the second half.
Yeah, it's good to find plenty of the footy, especially in a big game. You know, to play well in big games is always something I strive for. So it was just good. We had plenty of contributors tonight. It was great.
And Roo, up forward, did a little cameo there, but would have liked to kick a couple of goals.
Yeah, it would have been great for the crowd for Roo to kick a couple of goals, but I thought he competed really well and really had a presence down there.
John Cock played down back most of the night, and were you surprised that they actually let him go? And he basically controlled across half-back line along with McLeod.
Yeah, he plays that loose man back there very well. You know, to let a guy like John Cock run around is great for us in the back line because he fills holes well and also gives us plenty of runs, so it was great to have him back there.
Big Nick Gill, he's starting to become a bit of a cult figure for you. It's great to see with him and Brett Burton up forward, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. You know, they give us something different. You know, Gilly's really working on his goal kicking and he's starting to become a cult figure of this footy club, which is great.
Well, mate, in the 8, Magpies next week, massive game for the club.
Yeah, it is a massive challenge. You know, to play Collingwood over at the Dome is going to be a huge game to make the 8, so we're looking forward to it.
Thanks, Simon. Thanks for your time.
Thanks, mate.
Yes, Adelaide Crows now inside the 8. There was another match over in Melbourne, and it was Collingwood and Sydney that is certainly going to have a big say on the makeup of the final 8. And the Pies finding some of their best form, a pretty comfortable win, 25 points over the Swans. Rusling, great to see him back after a long absence through injury. And Barry Hall, after some recent inaccurate goal kicking, Jared finished with 4.
Well, good news for the Swans in that Barry Hall's got his goal kicking boots back on, but the names Goldsack and Pendlebury, they've been a couple missing. Pendlebury got injured, Goldsack got dropped, but clearly they've had big games, and I mean, you just can't get away from I guess the relationship between Rocker playing well and the Pies winning. He kicks 3, they win.
No great surprise to see Adam Goods chalking up another lazy 33. Can Sydney go all the way? They're not going to make it into the top 4, that's for sure, but I don't think too many teams would want to face them come September, would they?
No, they've had an indifferent year in patches, but Look, you just can't underestimate Sydney. They could have 4 terrific finals, win the flag and turn history on its head, win 2 out of 3. I think if they get to a preliminary final, they're going to be playing good enough football to win it, and they'll be a threat. And there's so many, I guess, permutations that could happen. Geelong could get some injuries, they could get some sickness. So that's why it's so exciting at the present time. But I reckon there's a gut feeling says that Port Adelaide are going to run into Adelaide at some stage in the next 2 or 3 weeks.
And St Kilda, of course, will be heavily favoured to beat Richmond next week. So Adelaide will have to beat Collingwood in Melbourne to get in.
Who do you like?
In which game?
Adelaide and Collingwood.
Probably Collingwood on current form. These are the games to complete round 21. The Bulldogs and the Hawks. Well, if Hawthorn want to make sure they're playing in September, they need to beat the Bulldogs. They've got a tough one with Sydney, up in Sydney in the last round. 1v2 down at Skilled Stadium. Geelong and Port Adelaide. That should be a beauty.
An absolute ripper. You can't tip anybody at Geelong at the present time. Dwayne Russell has tipped Port Adelaide. He's got a little bit of a gut feel. And the other one, well, it's going to be live on Fox Sports, and it's the Kevin Sheedy and James Hird show, one not to be missed.
No, absolutely. We saw Mark Rasciuto sent off at Amy Stadium tonight. What about the send-off that the MCG is going to give Kevin Sheedy and James Hird? 2 of the biggest names in the game as far as Essendon's concerned, if not football of all time. And you can imagine the size of the crowd that's going to be there. It'll be a great experience, won't it?
Well, we're lucky enough to be there, Jason. It's a bit like when Rasciuto gave it away here. I think everybody's going to be tuned into what's the final game for those 2 legends.
It will be a beauty. Mark Rasciuto, they thanked him for the memories tonight. There may be 1 or 2 still left because the Crows are in the 8 after a 26-point win over the Brisbane Lions. Good night.